Have you ever been lying in a quiet room, everything still, everything calm, and suddenly you hear a ringing or a buzzing that no one else seems to hear? You look around, no phone, no traffic, no sound at all, and yet it's there, clear, persistent, impossible to ignore. It can feel confusing, sometimes even frightening, but here's the truth. Your brain is not broken. It's trying to help you. In this video, I'm going to gently guide you through why your brain creates sound, even in silence, what tinnitus really is, and most importantly, what you can do to feel better. Tinnitus is the experience of hearing a sound when there is no external source. It might sound like ringing, buzzing, hissing, whistling. For some people, it's soft and occasional. For others, it's constant. And here's something that may surprise you. It's very common. Millions of people experience it. Now I want you to understand something clearly. The sound feels like it's coming from your ear, but in most cases, it's actually being created by your brain. Imagine turning on a radio. If the signal becomes weak, what do? You turn up the volume. Your brain does something very similar. When it senses reduced input from the ears, it increases its sensitivity. It turns up what we call the internal gain. And when that happens, even tiny background neural activity can become noticeable. That activity is what you hear as ringing. Now let me give you a simple example. Have you ever left a loud place, like a wedding or a busy event, and later noticed ringing in your ears? That's your brain adjusting. The input changed suddenly, and your brain tried to rebalance. Sometimes it overcompensates. Now here's something even more fascinating. Brain scans show that people with tinnitus have active hearing centers even when no sound is present. In other words, the brain is behaving as if it's hearing something real, because to your brain, it is real. Now you might be wondering, why does it feel louder at night? Why does it become more noticeable in silence? That's a very important question. When your environment is quiet, there are fewer external sounds, so your brain has less to focus on. And naturally, it starts noticing internal signals more. It's like being in a dark room. Even a small light becomes very noticeable. The same thing happens with sound. Now let's go a little deeper. There is another system in your brain that helps filter out unnecessary signals. Think of it as a noise control system. When this system is working well, it can ignore the ringing, push it into the background, but when you are stressed, tired, or anxious, this system becomes weaker, and suddenly the sound feels louder, more intrusive, more difficult to ignore. That's why many people say, my tinnitus gets worse when I'm stressed. It's not just in your head, it's a real neurological response. Now here's something I want you to hear very clearly. Tinnitus is not a sign that something dangerous is happening. It is a response, a natural response. Your brain is adapting, trying to make sense of changes. And while it can feel overwhelming, it is something you can learn to manage. Now let's talk about something closely related. Sometimes people don't just hear ringing. They may hear music or a voice or a sound that feels very specific. These are called auditory hallucinations. And before you feel alarmed, let me reassure you, these can happen to healthy people, especially during moments of stress, grief, or when falling asleep. Your brain is deeply connected to memory, so sometimes it replays familiar sounds, almost like an echo. It can feel very real, but it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain is active, creative, and sometimes a little overactive. Now let's talk about what can trigger these experiences. One of the most common causes is hearing loss. Even mild hearing changes can reduce the signals going to your brain, and your brain responds by turning up its sensitivity. Another trigger is exposure to loud noise. After loud environments, your hearing system becomes temporarily stressed, and that can lead to ringing. Stress is another major factor. When your body is tense, your brain becomes more alert, more reactive, and more likely to amplify internal signals. Fatigue also plays a role. A tired brain does not filter as efficiently, so sounds that would normally be ignored become noticeable. Even silence itself can be a trigger. When there is no external sound, your brain searches for input, and sometimes it creates it. Now let's focus on what truly matters. What can you do about it? Let's start with something simple and powerful. Add gentle background sound. Complete silence can make tinnitus feel louder, but soft sound like rain, fan noise, or calm music gives your brain something real to focus on. This often reduces the intensity of the ringing. Next, check your hearing. A proper hearing evaluation can reveal changes you may not notice, and if there is hearing loss, supporting it can make a big difference. Because when real sound increases, the brain often reduces the phantom sound. Another important step is learning how to respond emotionally. The more you fight the sound, the more attention your brain gives it. But when you accept it and shift your focus, your brain slowly learns to ignore it. This is where techniques like relaxation, deep breathing, and mindfulness can help. They calm the nervous system, and a calm brain filters better. Sleep is also essential. Good rest allows your brain to reset, to recover, to regulate itself. Even small improvements in sleep can reduce tinnitus intensity. Now let me ask you something. Have you noticed the ringing more when you are tired, or stressed, or sitting in silence? If yes, you're not imagining it. Your brain is simply reacting to its environment. And once you understand that, you gain control. Now I want to reassure you again. You are not alone. Millions of people experience this, and many learn to live comfortably with it. Some even notice it fading over time. Because the brain adapts, it learns, it recalibrates, and with the right support, it improves. So if you've been worried, if you've been feeling anxious about this sound, take a moment, breathe. This is not something that defines you, it's something you can understand. And when you understand it, it becomes less frightening, less powerful. Now I'd really like to hear from you. Have you experienced ringing or buzzing in silence? When does it feel strongest for you? Sharing your experience can help others feel less alone, and it helps create a community of understanding. Let me leave you with this. Your brain is always working to protect you, to adapt, to make sense of the world, even in silence. So when you hear that sound, remember, it's not your enemy, it's your brain trying to adjust. And with patience, care, and the right approach, you can guide it back to balance. You can find calm again, and you can feel in control again.